both at the same.
Well, it's better you're not doing screencast too. Screencast,
Okay.
podcast.
Whenever you're ready.
So we're going to be using this board to. It's always so big. We're going to be using this board to mill out a board like the one we're passing around, and with all the CNC machines, you need a sacrificial layer, a board that is just there in case something happens. We're going to drill the holes, so you're going to need something there to not ruin the plate at the bottom. And we use double-sided tape to place the material here. That's what's keeping this stuck to the plate, and we're going to do the same with this plate. So this is a big roll of double-sided tape, and it's just applying it. And so you want to make sure there's no bubbles, air bubbles in there, because if the board isn't leveled, it could mill one side more than the other. So this is a good example of a board not being leveled. You can see here it didn't even go through all the traces, and here it went crazy. So have no bubbles in here. Make sure it's flat, and take this side out, and then just place it at the corner. The origin is here. X and Y is 0, 0, 0. And then just tighten it. So once the material is secured, there's also the bit, this bit that needs to be changed. You go to View to get this in front, and there's a hex key.
Oh, it's underneath, kind of.
Oh. We leave the hex key. So there's two screws on this head, and I'm looking for the other bits. So you'll use the hex key to unscrew this, and then you want to be really careful with these bits, because if they fall or they could easily be broken. They're very tiny. This is a 1/64th of an inch, and that's actually what we're going to be using to mill out. So everything to mill and to mill the traces, you need a 1/64 inches of bit. To cut, you need a 1/32 inches bit. So
to separate the boards, you need to cut them out.
To cut them out. So, whenever...
I'm sorry, are you going to replace the bit?
Yeah, I'm going to use the same one. I just wanted to show. So, I'm putting this back in. I didn't know if I did. But there's this screw that you just tighten in here. And then when we zero the Z out, we're going to be repeating this a little, but we might do that. So, has anyone worked with terminal before? It's just a command line in Linux. You go to this is in Ubuntu.
Yeah.
Everything else is in we're working with Windows, but with this we're going to be interfacing with Linux or Ubuntu. So if it's in Windows, just restart, and it will automatically go into this.
And so you guys are familiar with Linux. Ubuntu is just a different type of operating system. So it's like the difference between Windows and Mac. It's just a different version of how you interface with your computer.
go here on the top left, there's applications, accessories, and then terminal is where it's located. So it's applications, accessories, and then click on terminal. You get this kind of like text edit or notepad. And we're going to be opening a program called CAD. So you just type in CAD, C-A-D, and press enter, and it will launch this CAD program. So I have it takes any raster images, so anything from JPEG, PNG, GIFs. But we're going to be using a JPEG that I've already set up. Should I send the 8? The 8? No.
I would think you just do one right now.
Okay.
Just make sure we get it done.
So I'm just going to change the window size. Okay. So there's a button here that says input, and that will open a dialog box to choose which file I'm going to be using. So I'm going to go to the desktop because that's where it is, and my file is called Fatuino 6 JPEG. That's what I called it. But so it's going to load it in. This is how it looks here. Was that board passed around?
That's right.
Okay. As you can see, there's this has been done with 3 files. This is the first one, which is just the traces, and then there's the drill holes, and then there's the cut line. That's when you're done. Which parts? Okay. So the first part we're just milling out the copper and leaving the traces, but it would still be. I probably have an example.
It's kind of the difference when you're on the laser, the difference between raster, like if you're going to etch something, and then that's different from specifying cutting something. Well,
So they're really 3 files. This one is you start, and it just mills out all the traces, and then we're going to send one other file that will have all the holes. I can show you real quick. So this file has only the holes, and then once that's done, there's another one that's the cut line. So it's just that, and that will cut it out. Does
So
that make more sense?
I was thinking something interesting on when you're milling out the circuits, that the pieces that we were keeping were white, and whatever was being milled out was black.
Yeah.
Same thing here. The cut line is black, but in the
this
holes.
needs to be inversed.
Oh, okay.
There's a nice command here. That's why I didn't bother too much. But this is it needs to be inverted. So everything that is black will be taken out. That's what's going to be traced out, and the white is going to be kept as is. So that's why it keeps the traces on there. Is that clear? Does anyone have questions on that? So I'm going to go back to that the milling file.
Do you mind just talking to Rachel for 1 sec? Sorry to interrupt.
Should I continue or?
Yeah.
Maybe if we can just pause for just a couple
Okay.
seconds.
Okay.
We'll
Yeah.
tell a joke.